we'll just get started kind of getting loosened up and doing some combos and shadow boxing work. We'll do a second to get to the chunk of what we're doing to see what shows up for us.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. So go ahead and start with shadow boxing, whatever you want. Definitely use lower strikes and upper strikes. Think about using head movement, angle changes, whatever it is, but just stay with next light right now. All right, cool. Go ahead and just start rolling the shoulders back. Getting lots of movement, going with the shoulders rolling back. And we'll go forward. All right, hit his neck. All right, cool. All right, so getting our fighting stance. I should pause this music real quick. Okay. Oh, cool. Hey, Letty, what's up?
Hey.
Good to see ya. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Just chilling, yeah. Ready to throw some bows.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool. Well, yeah, we were just kind of doing some shadow boxing, and just kind of starting to move around a little bit. Let me tie my hair back real quick. So we're just gonna go ahead and kind of start working on just our rotation, but we're gonna kind of start slow and then speed up to a really high speed. And all we're doing is just sending these really in the middle punches where my elbow is completely down, my pinky's down. So both of these are coming right at the middle, right? So they're in my silhouette. So I'm just doing really slow at first, fully rotating, elbow down punch, down punch. And then I'm speeding up, speeding up, speeding up, speeding up, speeding up. And what this is especially good for is feeling our extension and then recoil right back to the face on this really straight line. Because our pinky down punch, the benefit of it, what it's great at doing is going really, really straight, right up the middle in between someone's defenses. But it also gives us a clear kind of way to see our rotation and our strike getting thrown out and then coming right back to our face and then powering up the speed and the drive of our rotation, okay? So you can kind of level that up at your own pace. I'll be kind of talking you guys through it a little bit, but we're just gonna start really, really slow, fully extending those, and then we wanna get up to 100% speed with those inside punches. Sound good?
Good.
All right, cool. So go ahead and start nice and slow. Hands are coming right back to the face. Take your time. We'll keep it slow for a little bit. Make sure you're focusing all the energy into those top two knuckles. All right, let's start speeding that up just a little bit. Get the full hips and shoulders engaged every time. And speeding up a little bit more. Getting to about 50%, 60% here. Make sure you're snapping right back to the face every time. Start speeding up more. Let's get up to about 75% here. Keep those hips driving in, pushing off the ground. moving up towards 100%. Get up towards your fastest. Still engaging, full rotation. Keep it going. Keep it going. And time. Nice. Great job. So really feeling all of that connected rotation between our strikes, with speed, with power, with good technique. So that's great. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna call out. Both of you guys are pretty familiar. Who we got coming on here? Hey, how's it going? A little bit out of breath now. Well, I'm sure they'll hop on as we go. Can you hear me, Hong? Well, I don't think they have their sound on right now anyway. Okay, well, so what we're going to be going into here are counters. So we're going to work on our outside blocks, or our 360 defensives, okay? So the way that we're going to use these defenses, the way that we're going to think about this is as an extension of our covers, okay? So if our covers are really in close, like a shell around our body, right? Then our blocks and our 360 defenses are going to be kind of the next layer or the next progression of my blocks moving outward and being farther away from my body, okay? So what we get is less dependable, right? They're less dependable blocks farther from my body, but they're safer because they are farther from my body, right? You know, a box cutter or whatever weapon it might be, or just a strike itself, a really heavy hit, could really do some damage still on a cover, okay? So the farther we can keep things away from us and the more proactive we can be with the defense, ultimately that's going to be the better one, even though it's not what we start with teaching, because it's not the more dependable one, okay? So our blocks, we are going to try to make them more dependable by using the full length of our forearm as a blade and as a kind of wall to cover as much ground as possible, okay? So if I have something coming in at me, right, say someone that I'm facing is throwing a strike to my right side here, the difference between me kind of doing a defense like this, right, where ultimately we get about coverage from here to here, right? But then if I go here, we get coverage from here to here, right? So it's much longer, okay? So what I'm doing is keeping this 90-degree angle, and that keeps my forearm straight, okay? So with all of my defenses, they're going to be out of that 90-degree angle to have a really strong structure to push into this defense, as well as covering the most ground, as well as having a nice hard bone to be aggressive with our defense, right? Because we want to kind of hit back at whatever's hitting us, okay? So are there any questions right now after explaining kind of what the 360 defense is? Okay, cool. Hong, are you on here with us? Okay, cool. Oh, hey.
Sorry.
Hello. Good to see you. Were you listening into any of what I was just talking about?
I did not, sorry.
That's okay. I'll give you a really quick overview of it here. Basically, we're going to try to use this 90-degree angle like an L in all of our outside blocks, okay? So we're blocking things farther away from us now, okay? So we use an L like this in our arms, and that gives us a really long shield, okay, and a strong structure, okay? It's kind of like a farther out version of a cover, right? Covers are here, and then blocks are farther out. So what we're going to do is we're all going to stand in our fighting stance, and we're going to just go through basically creating a circle around our body, okay? So imagine I'm holding a hula hoop in front of me like this, okay? Now I'm going to follow the line of that hula hoop around with my arms, okay? And when I get down low, they flip over, and I come down here, okay? So we're all just going to move through this progression of our arms on your own. Remembering we want the forearm facing out, right? The pinky side of my forearm facing out. And a 90-degree bend in my arms. Okay, cool. So now, real quick, you've gotten a feel a little bit for all of them. I'm just going to mention a couple important points for different places that you defend, okay? So up here is all pretty self-explanatory, right? This is all just putting a block out there, making sure you get that 90-degree angle and upright forearm, okay? Now, when we get down here, okay, it gets a little bit harder, right? This scrunched in arm like this, okay? So here we just need to make sure that we kind of push out a little bit so it's not necessarily all in our body like this, okay? So it'll come down here, and then I just got to kind of make sure I'm using this little area here to push out, okay? And then I've turned my defense over, okay? So this is for someone striking low at us, okay? And look at this. My hips are back, okay? This is very important practice because a knife, if I block it here, will go underneath, right? So I have to block any low defense here with my hips out, okay? So you guys are all gonna stand in your fighting stance with your hands by your face, right? Okay? I'm gonna throw a strike from the top or from the bottom or whatever, and you're gonna work on that side defense, okay? You send it out, you put energy towards it, aggression towards it, and then you recoil right back to your face, okay? One defense and back. One defense and back. Okay. All right, here I come. Good, keep it up. And just double checking because I can see, just because right now I don't have my laptop, so it's a little bit small to see. But just make sure that you guys are all, again, kind of moving towards whatever's coming at you. Because if we have enough time to put a defense out that's far away and not covering, then generally we should have enough time to step forward into it, okay? If you guys might already think that this is very similar to an arm stop, and that's correct, right? All we do is basically just add another arm going in there that's gonna grab onto the body, and then we have an arm stop, okay? But for the simultaneous counter that we're about to work, you don't wanna grab on. We're gonna hit at the same time as this block after we get good at this block coming in, okay? All right, so here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna have two things that can happen in the midst of you guys. Oh, Scott's coming in here, sweet. What up, Scotty? Good to see you, man. Oh wait, that's a different Scott. Oh no, that's the same Scott. You just came back in. Okay. Isn't there another Scott? I think we have another Scott sometimes that joins us too. I thought we got him. Okay. I'm trying to figure out if Scott, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can. I was having a problem. I was trying to mirror this on my TV, and it just went out on me. That's all.
All right, cool. I'll just continue on then.
Yeah,
okay, so you guys are gonna be in a fighting stance, throwing those inside punches, right? Just firing out 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. If I say down, you guys go down into a sprawl. Okay. So you'll be punching. I say down. You sprawl out. You hit to the ground. You get back up. Okay. Now, if you see me come in with one of those strikes like we were just working, Then you're going to go out and defend, step into it, and then come right back into your punches. Okay? So this is what it will look like. You'll be looking at the screen, watching for me coming in for the punches. You start throwing, I say down. I come in for a punch, bam, block. Right back to your punches. Down. Okay? So you're just mixing things together is all it is. Sound good? All right. Let's get ready. In your fighting stance, and start punching. Go. And down. Coming in. Good. Keep punching, keep punching. Down. Down. And time. Good. Rest for a second. This next round, I'm going to do a little bit more high speed with those blocks, okay? The reason for that is for repetition, not because you would actually really try to block a bunch of different blocks like that, okay? It's very important to understand that the attitude of all of our blocking, most of the time, is going to be aggressive, right? I'm blocking because I'm going in to stop an attack while I get control, or while I do damage, or while I, grab on and then push off and get out of there or whatever, right? But it's being proactive, okay? So we don't ever really want to be doing a bunch of these because we would want to be doing damage or grabbing or something instead, okay? Now, for this drill, I'm going to throw a bunch pretty fast when we're doing it, and you just send it right out, pop it right back to your face, and keep going with those punches, okay? All right, so let's get ready for the second round. Ready? And punches, go! Good, get that rotation going in there. Hips and shoulders. Down. Good. Down. All right. Down. Right away, get ready. Down. Last one. And time. Good job, everybody. Great work. If you need to get some water, go ahead and do that real quick. And if you have any questions about the block, please let me know. Okay, everybody ready to go? So, what we're going to be doing is adding on a simultaneous counter to a haymaker or a outside strike coming in at us, okay? So the 360s that we're using, they are only for outside attacks coming in, right? I'm not going to use a block like that on something that's kind of coming straight at me. I can only use it on something coming to the outside. So if I keep my hands here a little bit spread, then I separate all my strikes coming in to things coming to the outside clearly, or if it's coming to the inside of my hands, I have parries and covers, okay? So what we're going to be doing is we see that attack coming in, I go out for one of my defenses, but at the same time, this punch comes forward, okay? Or this punch comes forward as that block happens. So this person's coming forward and we burst in, boom, as they're starting to attack, right? And we kind of I forgot what it's called, it's kind of like spearing them, you know what I mean? Like you step into it and it's kind of using the power of that step along with the power of your punch and clotheslining them a little bit as they come, as well as blocking and making sure that you are safe, okay? If we might follow it up with grabbing on and throwing other strikes as well, but this is a very hard reaction to ingrain in oneself. But if you can get it, it's super badass, especially if you really, really quickly can respond to something coming at you with a strike straight to the face and block, okay? So we're just gonna work on one side at a time, okay? It's kind of like rubbing your belly and patting your head, kind of feeling a little bit, because you want your defending hand open palm, okay? Pinky side out, 90-degree angle. You want the punching fist going straight, right? Right up the middle. Preferably kind of elbow and pinky down like we were talking about before, because that really cuts right up the middle. So we want a very straight punch and a very angled defense, okay? So every time we do this, we step in and we come right back out. I'll just show you a couple from a couple different angles, and then I'll let you guys work it and I'll watch you. Left side defense, right side punch right now. Recoiling right back, stepping in and driving through, okay? Again, left defense, right punch. You guys go ahead and work it on your own in a shadow boxing kind of environment. Okay, guys, so everybody come watch me real quick. So here's going to be the main thing everyone needs to work on, is not letting the defending hand get pulled forward with the attacking hand, okay? That's what's happening a lot, is my defense would normally go out here, my punch would normally go here, and when they go together, I go like this, right? Okay? But a block that goes forward instead of outward is going to get, if I take this out here, it's going to get hit across like this. So we need all of the structure of my arm going out sideways to the defense and the punch going forward, okay? So tuck that shoulder up, feel that shoulder to elbow lock, and go sideways out like a scarecrow, or a little bit forward, you know, maybe a little bit forward, but the punch goes straight forward, okay? So keep working that on your own, but take it nice and slow right now. Good. Good. Everybody go ahead and do it towards the camera so I can see how y'all are doing it. Good. All right. Great. So the main confusion comes when we start adding in the left side. So before we do that, I'm just going to go ahead and work on this same side a little bit more, okay? So what we're going to do is you guys are going to start in the fence position, okay? Hong, do you know about the fence? Have you worked on that at all? No? Okay, that's fine. I'll just give you a quick brief overview. All right, so this would be your fighting stance, right? Ready to fight, okay? Your fence position is kind of like pre-fight, but your spidey senses are tingling and you're ready for a fight. So what you're doing is you're having your arms out to give yourself space, and you're trying to kind of keep space between you and whatever potential threat there is, okay? Because if you give yourself space between you and the threat, you give yourself time and options, okay? If you don't have a fence, you don't have your hands out, and you let someone close in that space on you, then something could happen very quickly without you being able to react to it. So if you feel your gut senses kind of getting sketchy in a situation or whatever, keep space between you and the dangerous things and getting kind of like a half fighting stance with your arms out, right? So you can address the world around you and have time to react, okay? So we're gonna start in that stance. Our hands are out and our feet are kind of ready to move, okay? I'm gonna just be kind of normal, and then suddenly I'm gonna swing, right? So it's just gonna be that same side, coming here, and you guys are gonna do the same defense, but it's gonna go from here where my hands are kind of down a little bit, not down, but out in front of me. They're not in my fighting stance. Aggressively, explosively hit that simultaneous counter, and then we reset, okay? Okay, go ahead and get in your stance, get ready, okay? Kind of suspicious, potentially dangerous person here. Right, good, nice. All right, reset. Nice, all right. Right, and this could very easily be just a grab as well. A lot of grabs come from the outside, right? Or someone trying to grab your head or trying to grab to throw you. The same defense, just keeping their arm away from you, works in all those cases. So I'll start kind of varying up how this might look, but you can always still just pop someone with a solid strike like that. But be ready to also stop their tackles as well, right? You can be proactive, but if they don't stop, you got to keep those arms on the inside and be ready to keep their body away as well. All right, so get in your fence. Good. Yeah, totally. And even if someone isn't as fast or as explosive as you, you bring that to the fight, right? If someone's kind of like slowly escalating, if you know that you're ready to turn it on, then turn it on. Good, all right, cool. So let's go to the other side now. We'll mainly just stick with these top ones because you can pretty easily get from any of this to down here if you can get one side or the other. Going down low is a little bit more complicated, especially because of the bending of the hips. So we'll just leave it for another time, okay? So we're gonna go to the other side now. You're throwing your right 360 defense and your left straight punch, okay? So go ahead and get in your fighting stance and just work that on your own. Same principles as the other one. Good. And time. So that strike can really be whatever you want to. It could totally be an elbow or a hammer fist as well. But the straight punch seems to work pretty well with that defense. So that's what we're going with for now. But really the biggest principle in this that's really, I think, the most valuable takeaway is that explosive kind of stop on this. The skill of that simultaneous counter is really valuable for sure. But in terms of being able to deal with fights and people escalating a fight and making sure that you are always controlling the situation and able to kind of dominate, being proactive enough that you don't get caught on your heels, that bursting kind of energy with this one is really great. So like think about two people going from 0 and they both meet in the middle at 50. right? And if you can go faster and meet the other person when they're still at 30%, right? If it worked like that, right? Then you can catch them a little bit weaker and you can be a little bit stronger, right? So in terms of people clashing, right? Or a fight escalating, that mentality of being proactive and taking the fight to them if it's gonna happen is one of the big takeaways here. So just remember that as we're working. So I'll go ahead and start throwing that other side and you can work on your defense here, okay? Good. All right. Good. Okay, cool. It looks like you guys are still remembering to get that defense out to the side, which is great. Okay, so we're gonna go slow with these. We're gonna do either side, okay? This is when is always really hard to control, okay? So just nice and slow. We're gonna just go back and forth between them a little bit, okay? Good. And remember to think, if this was a big person swinging a heavy arm, a heavy fist at me, would this be able to defend it? Right? And to really do that, you gotta push into it hard. So just keep that mentality of this could be a really dangerous thing swinging at me. Because I know it doesn't look that dangerous from me. Okay, great. All right, so now we're gonna start putting a little bit more context on it, okay? So what's gonna happen is you guys are going to be shadow boxing, facing the camera here, okay? When I throw one side or the other, all right, you go for your defense and you immediately follow up with combatives, okay? But make sure that you're thinking combatives that are in close, because you and another person just clashed very closely with this counter, potentially. So I'm probably going to grab on if we got close at all, okay? So just keep that in mind. Things like knees and elbows can be really great here. But it's also possible to throw that counter and then kick them away, right? If you have some reach. Like for me, that might work. So if you can reach out into something and kind of keep them at a distance and then strike from far, that works great too, okay? So you guys are gonna start shadow boxing. I throw one, you do your defense, you do your counters, and you go right back to your shadow boxing. All right, and go. Nice. Nice, good job. All right, and time-o. All right, grab a sip of water if you need. Let me check if we got time to, yeah, we got time to cover another one here. So yeah, just take a second, get some water, and we'll come right back. Okay, so if you guys want to come over real quick just to talk about the counters we just did, what were there any main hard parts about those counters and trying to execute those that stuck out to you that you felt like needed work? Cool, great. It looked pretty good, like you guys were executing them quickly. And it's always tough, you know, when you can't feel that real pressure coming in. But I know from personal experience that the thing that I always ended up correcting when people actually hit me with one of these really hard was more movement towards the actual side of the strike. And although somewhat you can kind of compensate by just going forward a little bit more and taking away from the sideways power of a strike, a little bit kind of step over in that direction can go a long way, because it's the difference between them hitting in the middle with their power or going to stop a little bit farther back here. And just forward movement doesn't always cover all of that with a big strike coming in. So anyway, another counter that I wanted to talk about is actually going to be using our covers, and we're going to use what we call what I call the rhino horn. So it's kind of like, it could be either a headbutt or this elbow here, but it's going to be a mix of covering, right, and kind of bursting in towards the head and the neck area with my hairline, right, as well as an elbow strapped close to my head. Okay, so this is a much more close quarters kind of counter attack than the other one. The other one you see coming and you block it. This one might be really close. So we're going to be covering, right, and then bursting in really hard towards whatever it is. So if this were someone's head here, we're close, they start to throw something, right? So it's not really even addressing the actual fist that's coming in at me. I'm just making sure the important parts of my head are protected, and I burst with all the hard things I can towards their soft little neck and face area. Okay? So it would be and then grabbing on whatever else after that. So it could start here, we're moving forward, and if we have time, then we go all the way to there. So this is kind of like the inner progression of this. So let's go ahead and get in our fighting stance. We want to tuck our chin down hard, bring our shoulders up tight, and strap this arm onto the side of our head, okay? Pointing that elbow forward and keeping my other hand up tight. Okay, it's not just one side, it's both, right? Okay, it could be here, it could be here, it could be here, whatever, okay? So when I throw the strike, you're gonna bring that up and burst in. Okay, so here it comes. Good. And since you guys are pretty used to this, go ahead and throw some combatives every time. Good. Good. Great. All right, let's do the other side. Good. Great. And one of the nice things about this one is it's so middle focused and so easy to change from side to side with our covers that it almost doesn't really matter kind of what side they're throwing from that much, because we're taking it all no matter what. We're really, really getting in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start going back and forth. But if you see me just start barraging, then just keep pushing in with your counter and just keep striking, right? It doesn't mean you have to do the defense 100 times. Just get in there and then start striking, and I'll stop, okay? Ready? Good. Good. Make sure you're nice and strong with your feet, connected to the ground, not able to get taken down. Nice work. Good work. All right. Cool. So, let's see how much time we got. Cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and finish with a final drill here. So it looks like all of you guys are just doing stuff in the air. So we'll keep that same format of you guys using me as the attacker in this drill here. Okay? So we're just going to do 3 sets of workouts, and then you get up and I attack you, okay? In between each set. I'm sorry, that's a bad way of explaining it. It's going to be a set of workouts, you get up, you defend. A set of workouts, you get up, you defend. A set of workouts, you get up, you defend. Lots of combatives on each one, but that's it, okay? So we're going to do push-ups, sit-ups, and mountain climbers, okay? So right after you finish, after I say up from the workout, you get up into your fighting stance, and I'll be coming in with the attack. You defend, do all your combatives, and then we'll be going into the next workout, okay? Okay, so let's start with our push-ups. Get ready for any of those defenses when you come up. You can use your 360 defense or your covers. It doesn't matter. I'll just be throwing one of those attacks. So, push-ups, let's go. Keep it going till I say up. And up. Good job, good job. All right, down, sit up, let's go. And up. All right, nice. Mountain climbers. Go, up. Nice work. Great job, everybody. So that's the gist of it. And leaving it open-ended in terms of what particular strike is coming in at you is really good because a lot of times you won't know. So having these overall principles like bursting in that you're sticking to, and then trying to use specific skills as you're doing it, that's how you want to be fighting. Because then you always have a direction and you're trying to improve it with skills as you go, rather than being directionless and trying to rely on individual skills to be the fighter for you, right? So our mentality, especially in aggressive fight, is get in there, finish it, get control, and this is a great tool for it. So any last questions or anything?